Imagine an empire that lasted for more than 600 years, stretching from the heart of Europe to the deserts of Arabia, from the mountains of Persia to the shores of North Africa. An empire that shaped history through conquest, diplomacy, and innovation. This was the Ottoman Empire, one of the most powerful empires the world has ever seen. But how did the Ottomans fight? What made their military so dominant for centuries? And what led to their eventual downfall? The Ottomans rose from a small Turkish principality in the late 13th century, led by Osman. At first, they were just one of many warlike tribes in Anatolia, but they had something special, a vision of expansion, a highly disciplined army, and the ability to adapt to changing warfare. Their warriors, known as Ghazis, fought with speed and skill, striking their enemies with swift cavalry attacks before disappearing into the landscape. But as the empire grew, so did its military complexity. One of the key strengths of the Ottoman military was its organization. At the heart of their army stood the Janissaries, an elite infantry force trained from childhood. These soldiers were not born into military families. They were taken from Christian communities through the Devshirme system, converted to Islam, and trained in the art of war. The Janissaries became the backbone of the Ottoman military, feared across Europe for their discipline, firearms, and loyalty to the Sultan. The Ottomans mastered the use of gunpowder weapons long before many of their rivals. Their cannons and muskets gave them a huge advantage on the battlefield. This was most famously seen in 1453, when Sultan Mehmed II, known as Mehmed the Conqueror, led his forces to capture Constantinople. The city, protected by massive walls that had stood for centuries, seemed impossible to breach. But the Ottomans brought massive cannons, the largest the world had ever seen. And after weeks of bombardment, the walls finally crumbled. The city fell, and with it, the Eastern Roman Empire came to an end. Throughout their history, the Ottomans fought wars on multiple fronts. To the west, they clashed with European powers, including the Habsburgs, the Venetians, and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. In the east, they fought against the Safavid Empire of Persia. In the south, they waged war in North Africa and Arabia. Their ability to fight on so many fronts at once was a testament to their military strength. One of their greatest victories came in 1526 at the Battle of Mohacs, where Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent crushed the Hungarian army in less than 2 hours. This battle opened the way for Ottoman expansion into Central Europe, but their ambitions were not without challenges. In 1571, at the Battle of Lepanto, the Ottomans suffered a rare naval defeat against a coalition of Christian states led by Spain and Venice. Although they rebuilt their fleet quickly, the defeat showed that the Ottomans were not invincible. The Ottomans also faced internal struggles. Rebellions and civil wars weakened them over time. Corruption, rivalries among officials, and weak sultans led to military decline. By the 17th and 18th centuries, European armies had adapted to Ottoman tactics, and battles became harder to win. One of the most famous battles in Ottoman history was the Siege of Vienna in 1683. The Ottomans, led by Grand Vizier Kara Mustafa, launched a massive invasion of Austria, seeking to capture the heart of Europe. But after months of siege, the Christian coalition, led by Polish King John III Sobieski, counterattacked and crushed the Ottoman army. This battle marked the beginning of the Ottoman retreat from Europe. Over the next 2 centuries, the empire struggled to keep up with modern warfare. By the 19th century, European nations had developed powerful armies using advanced weapons and tactics, while the Ottomans lagged behind. The empire faced defeat after defeat, losing land to Russia, Austria, and nationalist movements in the Balkans. In the early 20th century, the Ottomans fought in World War I, siding with Germany. Their forces, though weakened, still showed resilience in battles like Gallipoli, where they successfully defended their homeland against British and Anzac forces. However, the war ultimately led to the empire's collapse. In 1922, the Ottoman Empire officially came to an end, replaced by the Republic of Turkey under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. The Ottomans fought with strategy, discipline, and innovation for centuries, but like all empires, they eventually fell. Their legacy, however, remains, shaping the history and cultures of the lands they once ruled. The rise and fall of the Ottoman military is a reminder that even the greatest empires can be brought down, not just by their enemies, but by time itself.